Back to Beyond the Barbell with your host, Larkana Robinson, IFBB Figure Pro, and IFBB Figure Pro, and we're both Olympians. Don't forget it. We are back with another back to our main attraction. We want to go over a couple of things that are coming up this weekend. November State Pro Am Beyond the Barbell will be there, so come and check it out. Come support. Remember, this whole platform is to elevate the figure division as a whole, not just the pros, not just the pros, everybody, NPC and figure. So Beyond the Barbell will be covering in IFBB Pro Figure at the Texas State Pro Am, and we will also be updating you guys on the rise. She's on prep. Give her a second. That's prep delayed, y'all.
All right. Hold on.
Prep delay.
It's coming from my...
Yeah, you're frozen. It's okay. The State Pro Am, we will be there covering. So if you're in the San Antonio area, make sure come and see us at Beyond the Barbell. We need all the support that because this division is not going to elevate itself. We all have to do our job. We all have to do our part. You know, whole group as a whole. And Nicole is for. Let's see what we can do here. Try turning your.
Okay. Now we're good. All right. Sorry, guys. Okay. Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
Am I good now?
Cool. Always, right? Okay. So as I was so rudely interrupted by my technology, yes. So guys, thank you again so much for the continued support. And as we know, yes, this is coming to an end. We only have a few shows left until the Super Bowl of our sport. So make sure that you have gotten your tickets because they are selling out. As we already know, VIP is already done. But we still have general admission and we still have expo tickets. So make sure that you capitalize on those. If you're not there, make sure that you are streaming. Also, do not forget those crew neck sweatshirts. I know we're actually out of all of the larges, but we are those will be in. We will post those up. Crop top hoodies and crew neck sweatshirts are $40 plus shipping and handling. Make sure you get those orders in ASAP because they are most certainly selling out.
Yeah, guys, I can't say thank you enough. And when y'all get those with y'all in them, reposting, retagging, resharing, it's really uplifting to matter, you know, and you're representing your division as a whole and you're supporting your division and you're being like we wanted you to. So thank y'all so much. Seriously, we cannot say thank you enough. It's like we keep saying over and over again, we're not going to let our division die out. We're just not.
All right. So getting in, hold on one second. Our main attraction. One second, where is it?
The queen of Liquid Sunrayz herself. We are ready. Can we get a drum roll?
Yes. Yes. Miss Mama Ray's herself.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for coming on.
Happy to be here.
Oh, there we go.
No, we are.
Oh, no, we're good.
You're doing the robot. No, you're not.
Like a robot?
You are. You did before, but now you're good. Thank you so much for coming on. Seriously, we know you're extremely busy. So we're making the time to come on and, you know, speak to us because We know your company is a huge. So could you please
Oh.
tell everybody, who you are, what your company, and when did you start your company?
Actually, I just a quick little background on me. I'm a nurse by first profession. So I actually had worked in a major hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio for a number of years and got quite burnt out. It was a pretty stressful floor that I worked on and area that I worked in. And my heart wasn't in it anymore. And I just needed to get out.
Right.
So I got into the salon industry for fun. And I was at a trade show and saw spray tanning. It was brand new. And that intrigued me because I am so fair, I cannot even look at the sun without burning. And I thought, how cool would that be? So that's really how the whole journey started and how I kind of, segued into the competition tanning genre was kind of interesting. It was a local competitor that actually went to grade school and high school with our sons who owned a gym, came in one day to get a tan. And he started telling me about, oh my gosh, that looks so easy. You should see the way we have to do it. It like takes a whole week. You got to start on Tuesday and rinse it off. And it was this process that he said was so grueling that they all hated it. So he said, could you spray me with what we use? And I said, sure, if it's liquid, I can spray it. So that's sort of how it all started. So I started in the salon industry in 2002. I mean, I graduated from nursing school in like 1973, so I'm old, but once I started this journey, I found it very interesting because I knew nothing about competition. I was familiar with the fitness industry because, believe it or not, back then I was a fitness instructor, but didn't know anything about competition. So it was intriguing to me. And I listened to what competitors said they hated about the tanning process, believe it or not, which is kind of what drove me to start looking for something different. I tried different products and there weren't a lot back then. 20 years ago, there really wasn't a lot.
Right.
So spray tanning was just a new modality of how they applied product. And nobody was really doing it that way yet, at least to my knowledge, the way we are now.
Gotcha.
So I kind of set out to find something that could accomplish everything competitors said they didn't like, that we could do it with less applications to get the color depth needed. It would hold up well. They didn't have to go through that long process. Seriously, I mean, I had significant others, and they were about in divorce court because they would stand there so long having to go through this process. So the spray modality was kind of an easier way to do it. So that's how it started. And then I just said, I'm not liking anything I'm finding. I want to get a chemist and try to develop something.
Right.
So I had four goals. I had, something that would dry quick, would produce a better color depth quicker, that would hold up well on stage and would have minimal rub off after you had it on. And it took almost 2 years with a chemist. I finally found one. There weren't that many sunless tanning manufacturers back then. There were a handful, and all the companies that had products probably all used the same manufacturer. So it took me a while to find a chemist that was willing to work with me through this whole process. So it took almost 2 years. And when we finally got it, it was like this aha moment because I had been trying so many different things. And when I finally got the final deck that I went to a show with, I was, opened it and poured it, and it had like an olive green tone to it. I'm like, oh my God, it's not good. It's bad. And I called my chemist on a Saturday and she said, no, it's fine. Trust me, put it on and you'll see it change. And I did one pass with the gun and it was beautiful. And it was like, this is it, and I have not changed that formula since. It's been the same ever since then. The whole process has evolved. I've learned a lot because I didn't really know anything back then. So I've kind of evolved with, we've figured it out along the way.
I mean, I'm still on the fact that you said you were a nurse in 19 drinking whatever you're drinking because you look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
How did you with Sunrayz, just the name, because I hear you, it took 2 years, to get the pretty much be one size fits all, right? So how did you come up with
Yes. How did I come up with the name? Is that what you asked? I was just trying to figure out names, because I actually got a license to do nails and I booth rented. So my name was Nail Creations back then. And I thought, well, if I want to take this strictly to sunless tanning, and I started with just everyday normal tanning, sunless tanning, spray tanning in a salon, and then it evolved to the competition genre. So liquid Sunrayz really didn't have anything to do with the competition world at that time. It was just I wanted liquid Sunrayz with an S, and that domain wasn't available. So that's where the Z came into play. And it just kind of stuck. And over the years, people started calling me LSR. And at first I'm like, no, I'm liquid Sunrayz. I'm not LSR, but now I'm pretty much LSR. I mean, that's just how people abbreviated it for me. And it's just been really fun to see how this has grown. And honestly, to be honest with you, back then, I never had any aspirations that this business would go here. I just wanted a product that I liked using that would work well for competitors. And then it just started growing. So I think the timing was right. I think I got involved in this when spray tanning as a modality was new. And a lot of shows didn't have people that did it that way. So, you know, it grew and I just kind of went with it.
Yeah, and you had the patience too, because a lot of people will just rush and get it out there. But you took 2 years to find your chemist and actually find the product. That's a huge difference between you and everybody else.
I think one of the things that I focused on too with being a nurse, I always really kind of got into the chemistry of things. So to me, it was always important that if you're going to put something on a person's body, you know what it is, how it works, why it works, and what the ingredients are. And I didn't want ingredients like acetone or isopropyl alcohol. I wanted ingredients that would be healthy for the skin. Because DHA, which is the active ingredient in all sunless tanning products, tends to be a little drying to the skin. So I didn't want to just be a, cookie cutter company. I wanted to focus on something that was good for the skin, but would still accomplish what we needed. And I wanted to really concentrate on customer service, and I wanted to focus on education. Because I'm a firm believer that with the product I have, I mean, I was a new kid on the block, so I had a lot to prove, especially with the pros back then, because they didn't know me. They didn't trust me. I had to gain that trust. And it was important to me that if anybody else was going to use my product, that they learn how that product works and that they are educated on how to use it. So I've never sold my product in bulk at all to anybody unless they go through some sort of training or vetting process with us. I think it's important. I think it's important to have consistency. And Nicole, you go to me at the Olympia, but if you go to somebody else that uses our product, I want it to be a similar service so that you're getting consistency.
That's awesome.
Could you tell everybody? Because even my own mother does not understand. Everybody needs a tan. She's like, you're black. You do not need a tan. Can you please tell everyone why it's so important to get a tan for the your tan is
that's a funny story, because when I was still working in the salon and I was just starting to get into competition tanning, I would tan people in the salon, then I would maybe follow them to the show, and I got a call and a guy booked his appointment and he walked in and he was a black man, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with him? I mean, I didn't know either. I'm like, he's already dark. I don't get what I have to do. But when I started to spray him, I saw the color tone change. I saw everything even out. I saw more warmer tones take over some of the ashiness that he already had in his skin tones. So I quickly realized that it's not always about color depth, but it's about color tone. So any ethnicity needs a tan, because anybody, I don't care what color you are, if you're exposed to the sun, you can still get tan lines. You can still have uneven skin tones in different parts of your body. So this is a way to even it out and warm it up. If you're a darker person of color, it's not about getting you darker. It's about evening your tone out and giving you more warmth. If you're a more fair-skinned person of color, it is about getting you darker because there's more gold tones or yellow tones in the skin. So it was a big process. I mean, but that was like, he seriously walked through the door. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? So it was really, I had to kind of learn as I went.
Yeah.
And we deal with it all the time. People are like, well, I don't need a tan, do I? I'm like, yeah, you really do. Because when you're up on stage, the way the lights hit you, you just need that warmth. You need better color tone. So everybody needs a tan. Everybody.
Right. Because it's like you have to think about it like this. When you take a picture with flash on, you're not going to see your entire body. That's exactly what you literally be washed out on stage from those lights if you do not have a tan. Like,
right.
When you get up there for the final product.
So now you guys hear it. Just because you have darker skin, you still need a tan. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And people have been told that. People have been told that you needed it.
Especially my ethnicity, because there's a lot of locals on that are black. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I could say it. I'm black. I have the black card. So whatever. If you are black, matter. Our skin tone is not even, just like you said, it's splotchy. You know, whenever you me being lighter skin, parts of my body are not the same skin tone. To get up there looking like a cow, white spots, brown spots, you need it to even yourself out on stage.
Absolutely.
And what's been fun for me too over the years is dealing with different, and when I do talks at seminars or whatever, I talk about skin conditions in one of the segments that I have, because there are a lot of skin conditions you see, and vitiligo is a big one, you know, where the Michael Jackson disease or whatever, where you have parts of your body that are losing their pigment. And there's a certain way that you need to tan those people that have that condition to make it even. And it's kind of a process. You just don't spray the whole body. You have to go over those lighter parts first. But I love that. And I love a challenge. It's like, give me the hardest, most difficult person out there, because I will figure it out. It may take me a time or two, but we will figure it out. Tinea versicolor is another huge thing we see in this industry, which is a non-fungal, or it is a non-contagious fungal skin disorder. It's very big in this industry. And it almost looks like, have you ever seen a person on stage, it almost looks like they've got splotches all over their back or their chest, those parts of the body. And it's from over sun exposure, but it's also from being in sweaty clothes. Hello. You know, you're working out in gyms all day. So, or people that have been in sweaty clothes. We see it a lot with people that have come back from deployment that compete. So there's things that we can do to improve that, but I like to teach people to have the eye to be able to see that when they get in the tanning tent, because sometimes you don't see it till you spray it, and those are drier patches of skin. Then it grabs and it pops out in a real blotchy manner, and that can be a little bit more difficult to fix. So I like the education part of this. I like to educate people.
And I didn't even know that. That's wow.
Yeah, I feel like if you know the education behind it, you're going to now do everything on purpose so you get it right. I love that you actually teach, and you're not just teaching, you know, whoever's doing it, but we're learning too, you know, you tell us the proper way to prep before we come and see you. Like, are we supposed to get base tan? Like, how do we prepare our whole entire body before we come and get the tan?
Well, I'm a real stickler on skin prep, and I think that, you know, there's other companies out there besides me. So I always tell people, follow the skin prep instructions for whatever company you're going to use. I mean, to be fair, there are different companies out there and they all have their skin prep. I think a lot of the steps are common denominators. We always talk about skin exfoliation. One of the biggest things that I learned is that, and I stopped using the word dry your skin out. I stopped using the word dry, because you really don't want your skin dry. You want your skin in good condition and well hydrated. You just don't want anything on it the day you go to get tanned. So you want your skin free of surface dirt, oil, lotion, deodorant, perfumes, things like that. But up until that time, you should be exfoliating. You should be hydrating. You should be moisturizing well and taking good care of your skin. I really believe that people should take care of their skin all year long, just like brushing your teeth, tying your shoes in the morning. It should become a habit. But a couple of weeks out from a show is when you want to amp that up. And one of the biggest things I see too is that people take that whole, I got to exfoliate, to too aggressive of a level. You don't want to scrub the crap out of your skin to where you aggravate it. I mean, the products that are designed to exfoliate, the charcoal sugar scrub that we just launched, that I'll talk about in a minute, But the exfoliating scrubs, those things will do the job without you like
rubbing yourself.
going at it. Like,
Using
yeah, you
elbow
don't need to be that aggressive. If you are that aggressive, then you're going to work in a negative. You're going to cause small little scratches or abrasions that may dry or grab and give you a patchy look as well. So it's just daily care, but we kind of amp it up the week or two before is what we like to tell people. But I hate that weekend warrior approach because that's what will happen, especially with the new competitors. They won't do anything. And then like 3 days before, they're trying to like go at it. And sometimes that works in a negative. So
Right.
I tell people just take care of your skin all the time.
Right.
But amp it up those last few weeks. You want to exfoliate. I don't like, for girls, I will say this, I'm not a fan of waxing, especially for the first time competitor. I will say this, if you're a first time competitor and somebody's saying, oh, you got to do this or you got to do that, if you've never done it before, don't start now, because certain things like waxing or using chemical depilatory creams, you know, I've seen chemical burns from that. I've seen people get waxes that are not done properly and their skin's irritated. It's like they have road rash in their crotch area. So
Mhm.
I still think good old-fashioned shaving is the best, personally. I really do, you know, and if somebody's used to waxing and they're accustomed to it, then I think it's fine. We don't like people to do it at least a week before. And girls get all worried, but I'm going to
Yeah.
have racist stubble. I said, you're not. And the tiny little bit you may have, they are not going to see.
Right.
They are not going to see. So just take care of your skin. A person that worked with us for a while, he moved on. He's not with us anymore, but he was a painter by trade. And he truly had one of the best analogies I've ever heard. He said, you know, if you are staining wood and the wood is old and dry, it's not going to take the stain evenly. It's going to be very uneven and patchy. He said, your skin's the same way. And it really, truly is. If you don't take care of it and it's too dry, it's going to be patchy. I've had people say, oh, I stopped moisturizing 2 weeks before. I said, no, you should not do that. You should keep moisturizing. You just have to kind of be mindful of the products that you use. You don't want to use anything that's too heavily oiled. The more water soluble, light oily products are better to use.
Yeah. You as a competitor, you should know about your skin a little bit. Like if you know your skin is oily, about that. If you know your skin is dry, you need to do something about that. But you were talking about waxing a week before. So I always get the question, when should we shave? Because I have a lot. And the problem that they have, like the question that they have is like, okay, so if I shave, let's say I shave, I don't get my tan until Saturday, I'm going to grow a little bit of hair. But I'm like, that's okay, because then, you know, pigment and it won't get those like splotches like you said. But I feel like if you tan before, your pores are open, and then the tan's going to get in your pores, and then it's going to be those like right. So when is the how many days before, or do you think that just shaving before
I think 24 hours before is good. You know, we have those people, and usually, sorry guys, but it's the guys that will show up and they are new and they haven't been told. And we were at Whitney Jones's show this past weekend, and we had to send a guy out of the tent to go shave. He was men's physique and he had hair everywhere. And it's like, dude, you know, you got to get rid of that, you know, so that's not the ideal situation. But I at least need them to wait an hour before they come back, because we've had people that shave right before they come. It's usually the men that have bleeding areas, and it's like, I send them away. I said, you're going to have to come back later tonight, because as soon as that gun starts to spray, even though it's not a lot of pressure, it's enough that it will make those areas bleed. And I can't deal with that. You know, we can't deal with that. So I it's 24 hours ahead. I think they're good, but you're right. And if some women have more coarse hair, sometimes you're exactly right. The tanning product tends to pull in the open pores or the bigger pores, and it almost looks like little black spots, and they get all worried about that. But when we prep people in the tent, if they have skin like that, we always take our barrier cream and just have them do a slight little swipe over their groin area with the barrier cream. And that pretty much resolves that.
Wow.
But again, you have to use the right products, and that doesn't hurt. We have a moisturizer that we have actually put on if I see tinea versicolor, or someone has eczema or more mature skin, you know, where they're drier. We put the moisturizer on right in the tent, and it actually makes the tan come out better. but
Wow.
it's knowing that you're using the right product to be able to do that.
Because
Gotcha.
right now, our ethnicity, we struggle with eczema big time.
Yep.
When it gets cold, our skin dries. So I was like, how do you deal with eczema, especially, face? And they did everything proper, but you just told me the moisturizer.
Yeah. But when you come into our tent, and I just dealt with this past weekend as well, if you have we see a lot of times with competitors that compete back to back. We compete this week, they try to scrub the tan off. You are never going to get it all off. You're just not going to. So I tell people, if you are going to get a tan the following week, let your tanning person know, hey, I just competed, because we can kind of look for those areas like in between the breast area, the collarbone, different part like the back areas, the chest, areas like that, knees, elbows, those are drier areas to begin with. So we'll moisturize them right before we spray them, and that will pretty much even that out. But it takes a lot of communication. So I always tell competitors, just communicate with us. If you have a concern or if you have a skin issue, just tell us, because sometimes we can see it, but some of our newer people haven't been trained yet to have that eye to see everything. And once it pops out after we've tanned, sometimes the next day they come back and like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Then we know what it is, but then it's much harder to fix. So education and communication are our best friends, because if we know ahead of time that there's an issue or you think you have an issue, just tell us, because there's usually a way to fix it and make it less apparent.
Okay. What about, have you run into any athletes who have like really sensitive skin, could possibly be allergic to the product? What do you do in those situations? What do you have them do?
That has come up. I will say that we rarely have that happen with our product. I'm happy to say we don't see it often, but anybody can be allergic to anything. Anybody could have a sensitivity to anything. And if I say to a person, if you know you have sensitive skin, or you have an allergy to certain things, read the ingredients. I mean, they're all on our website. So I think it's important for people to know what's in the product that's going to be put on their body. I mean, you should know that. And if you have any concerns, ask us or let us know. I have had it happen a few times. I've had people tell me that other products that they've used have caused issues, and sometimes I can figure out maybe why. And then here we're going back to my nursing background. If it happens, I usually tell them I can't do it. I mean, honestly, if it depends on how severe it is. I mean, sometimes we might just get a little itchy, but I don't want somebody to end up in urgent care. And that has happened with some people that have used other products that have said, oh my God, I was in urgent care, but I have to suck it up. And I'm like, no, you really don't. Because if you're having a sensitivity to any product, in order to know what ingredient is causing that, you almost have to go to a physician and have a patch test.
Right.
And they have to test every ingredient in that product to see what it is. I've had people tell me, I think I'm allergic to DHA. DHA, dihydroxyacetone, is the active ingredient in every sunless tanning product. Every sunless tanning product that is in. It's very rare for someone to have a reaction to that. And unless a doctor has told them this is what you're allergic to, it more than likely is. But it could be fragrance. It could be a botanical. It's, our product isn't made with any animal byproducts, no nut products. And people have asked me that, because there's a lot of people that have severe nut allergies. So we don't see it too often. But many times, a few times we have, it's because maybe of something else they've done prior. Well, I started using this new soap because somebody said I should use this soap. And if it's not something they've been used to using, then it's hard for me to determine.
Because I know there's other tanning companies that will suggest you to do before they even come to the show, and get their real coat, because sometimes they don't get coat. But do you suggest people getting the base coat first, or then what if they do go from another company, and they have a base coat from a different company from a show, the next show, and y'all's products are totally different? Like, do you have something to not turn green? Because when you mix products, I'm assuming there's two different different chemicals now.
Well, that's kind of a three-part answer. So the first part that I'll answer is, do you need a base coat? You know, with our product, usually not. But there are some people that are super fair, and I always figure people know their body. They said, I've been tan before and I never can get tan. I don't care what you use. It can be our product, it can be a salon tan. At that point, if they're having a hard time getting the color depth they need, that would be the only reason someone would get a base coat ahead of time, to kind of get a jump start on making sure they can get dark enough. They're just needing to get some DHA development on their skin. At that point, it really doesn't have anything to do with the ingredients, because they're going to rinse it off. So you're really not mixing products per se.
Okay.
The way sunless tanning products work on the skin after you rinse them off is kind of like the Maillard reaction, like an apple. If you cut an apple open and leave it sit out, it starts to turn brown.
Right.
And that's the same exact thing that happens with DHA on your skin. It causes a skin color change in the stratum corneum layers of the skin, which is the top layers of the skin. It reacts with the amino acids in the skin and an oxidation process. And that happens regardless of what you're using. With competition tanning, it's all about the bronzer that's staying on your skin. That's what's giving you the color depth. So if people want to get a base coat before they come to us, I tell them that's fine. You can certainly do that, but rinse it off and still make sure that you're moisturizing your skin and taking care of your skin. At that point, it doesn't really matter. Our product isn't going to react with anything because of that, because they've rinsed that product off their skin.
Yeah.
What's left is the reaction that's happened
Mm-hmm.
to get them a little bit color.
Go get that tan and come right to you after that tan. They'll be good.
If they want to, they can. I mean, yeah, and we don't have that happen much. And the whole green issue, that's generally a pH thing. And, you know, a lot of that's dependent on the diets that competitors are on, or, you know, and some of them are different. You know, your systemic pH is usually between 6.5, 7.5. Your skin acid mantle pH is usually about 1% lower than that. And we have a skin prep spray that we can use, and there's nothing that's going to alter your skin pH very long, but we can balance it temporarily enough that when we spray the product, it will accept it a little bit better.
Okay.
So it's just kind of trial and error. I mean, it just depends. If I have someone that I know is a problem child, I'd say just put a coat of something on before you get to us, but just rinse it off. Then they've got a little developed base. Then when we spray them, it's usually all good. Or if we don't know, and a lot of times we don't know the people, there's so many new competitors this year, which is great. They'll come in and they may look a little icky that night when we send them out. And we'll tell them, look, I don't know if I like how that looks, but leave it on. Let's see how it develops in the morning. If it doesn't look good in the morning, just rinse. Because about 8 hours after you've had this applied, you're going to develop a little base. They rinse in the morning, they come back, we respray them. No problem. It's usually fine.
Okay.
It's all about knowing how to instruct them.
Gotcha.
Right.
So what would you say as far as the do's and the don'ts after you've gotten your tan, you're going back to your hotel room? Is it okay to shower? Do you sleep without any clothes on? How do you keep your tan from not messing up?
Okay. And that's a good question. We have these little sheets that we usually give out to competitors that have never done this before about just that. Post-tanning instructions. We like you to wear loose-fitting, dark, crappy clothes, not tight-fitting. Whatever you wear to us to get tanned in and put on afterwards, that's where I hope you're just going to go back to your room and sleep in.
Right.
You should never sleep nude, because you will wake up looking like you had a love affair with yourself. You will have handprints all over you. It's amazing people don't realize what they do when they sleep, but to sleep naked is the worst thing you can do. I like to have as much of your body covered as possible. Keep the temperature lower. I know y'all hate it when you're lean and ready to go on stage and we got the room like Alaska and everybody's, it's so cold in here. And I know that, but cooler air will dry and set the tan a lot quicker than warm air.
Right.
So that's my biggest advice. Keep it on. Girls, if you're going to go to the bathroom, take a paper cut the bottom off, use it like a funnel, because that's one of the biggest things we see. The girls try to hover and then they get the little, streams down their legs. and the guys come back with the handprints right down here, every
Yeah.
day. So just keep yourselves covered. Loose, something comfortable. I like the just light cotton fabric, stretchy fabric. That seems to be best. And don't forget to bring extra sheets and linens to the hotel. I will pride myself in saying our product does not rub off much once it's dry, but you still want to make sure you're protecting the hotels and the linens, because they will charge.
They sure will.
They will charge. If you mess them up, they will.
Question. Okay, so as far as the dark, loose fitting clothing, what about red clothing?
Red is something we have always told people to stay away from. And the worst culprit is red cotton, like cotton t-shirts. If it's been washed a lot, you're probably good. If it's like the satin robes, you're probably good. But to border on the side of caution, we just tell people stay away from red, because there's something in the red dye, especially in cotton t-shirts or clothing, that can react with the color and turn it green. And we've seen that happen. It doesn't happen to everybody, but it's better for me to say, just stay away from red.
Right.
And we had a guy this last weekend that came wearing a pair of red pajamas, and I said, do you have anything else to put on? He's like, no. And, and that's what I'm going to say to your viewers. Please read the skin prep instructions of whatever tanning company you're using, because they're always on the website. And I can't tell you how many times people will come back and say, well, I didn't see that. I'm like, it's there. We send it in your reminder email. Just scroll all the way down. Whenever you get anything from anybody, scroll all the way all the information, because that's so important. Help me help you. That's what I always tell people. Help me help you. It's all the information is there. If you have a problem or a question, we're very accessible and we're happy to answer anything. But yeah, we like people to stay away from red. I've seen it before. We had a guy that had a little boxer shorts on. He just had this little tag that was red, and he had this tiny little green square right on the back of his his butt when he came back.
So important. Like, it literally can make or break your placing. It literally can. It's a huge deal. So I'm literally over here taking notes as you're telling me this, because I need to pass this along, because I had no clue about the red clothing thing. Like, I'm literally, like, of course, trying to take it all in so I can learn and pass this information on, because like you said, there's new competitors that just don't know. And then it would suck for them to bodybuilding because of a simple mistake, and they got embarrassed, and they could have just watched this podcast and so I'm so happy that you actually teach, and you want to teach, you want to look their best. It's not like you're trying to.
I mean, we want people to look their best. But they have to do their part too. They have to they have to listen to what we tell them, because once they get to us, I mean, we have literally sent people back to the shower in the morning but I'm not staying at this hotel, and I will walk them back to my room. I mean, I always bring extra towels, because it's that important to me. If I have to take them back to my room and let them shower in our room, I will do that, but we haven't had to have that happen too much lately. I think people are listening to us a little bit better, but a lot of it, our techs are trained to ask questions when somebody comes in, and I will be at the front, and I have our person checking in. Have you competed in the last week or two? Have you did you do your skin prep? Do you have any deodorant? We'll ask them that, even though they should know it already. You'd be surprised. Oh, I put deodorant on. I don't want to stink. I'm like, honey, everybody's going to stink. So you're going to have to, we'll all be stinking together. It's okay. But
huge deal, in our sport. And you do for the professionals, in the bodybuilding community, period. Your sponsorship program, because you have quite a few sponsored figure others, and we truly appreciate you, for promoting our division you're doing, for us to help us continue to be, the professionals that we are.
I love the figure. I love all the divisions, but figure and women's physique are probably two of our biggest. And I'm so sad, that they're like not having that at the Arnold this year. I mean, I really am. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But, but no, we want to support everybody.
So how can I apply to be a sponsored athlete let me know, because I'm putting myself out there right now.
We have, I think right now the application is actually on our website on the top. And, you know, I have to be honest with you and say, I've kind of taken myself out of that a bit because I say yes to everybody. I mean, I am just the ultimate yes person.
Yes.
So
She said yes.
But I do have my girl in Canada. She kind of reviews everything, but we take applications all throughout the year. I usually put it up. It's up on the website now, but I never shut that down. I'm always looking at people and always, you know, we're getting a little stricter on people meeting the criteria and doing what they're supposed to do. Because, you know, it has to be a two-way street.
To hit them up like everything.
What's that?
Anyone else but Liquid Sunrayz, and I was like, holy crap, the color is perfect. I'm never going to release anyone else. Like, I need to work with Liquid Sunrayz.
Yeah. And I think I reached out to you too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You helped me. You helped me at Norfolk. Acting out because my skin was breaking out from eczema, and that's nothing. It's no big deal, blah, blah, blah. Like, you literally calm me down. And ever since then, I'm like, can't do anybody else. You actually knew what to do. You know, like, for me, in that moment, you calm me down. It's crazy chaotic for a competitor backstage because we just all want to win. And then here I am for you to take care of it in less than 12 seconds. So I'm appreciative.
But that's my job.
Of it. And
that's our job. It's our job to give you a good tan, but it's also, I feel, our job to make it as stress-free for the competitors. I mean, that's what we're there for. You know, our company will never backstage, you know, when we're backstage, we don't charge for glue and glaze for anybody. It doesn't matter if you've tanned with us or not. I will do that. If somebody's used another tanning product and they're really a mess, I may charge to fix that. But for the most part, we're just back there. Once I'm back there, if I'm the sponsor of a show, I really feel that it's my job to make sure everybody gets on stage. Whether they tanned with me or not, I can glue them. I can glaze them. I'm not going to start nickel and diming and nitpicking at that point. I don't have time for that.
Right.
And I feel like a little kindness goes a long way. You know, maybe if I help somebody, then they may want to use this next time. And if not, that's okay too. But that's our job. We will always glue. We will always glaze. I will never charge for that for anybody backstage.
So when we all
was that
right? Yeah. When would you say? Obviously, we know, but you know, for someone who's new, just getting into this, when is the best time during the show to get glazed or glued?
You know, ideally, I tell the competitors to listen to the expediters and make sure that they're listening for when they're calling people to come to us. But if that doesn't happen, because sometimes it doesn't, things get really crazy. I usually tell people at least 3 to 4 classes before their class goes up, they need to start thinking about coming to us. And it kind of depends on the numbers. And I tell competitors all the time, don't go away. Don't go sit out and watch a show. Stay back there and know where you need to be, because you don't know how fast the show is going to go. That's dependent upon the expediters and the judges. And sometimes things will move pretty quick. And, you know, the last couple of years, especially after COVID, when numbers have been a little shaky with some of these shows, you just don't know how many crossovers there are, some divisions are small and they go fast. So I always tell them, stay within earshot range of the expediter. But for me, I've been known to start calling people myself back there when I see things moving, if I'm back there. But I just tell them, stay within earshot range. And if you're not sure, go up and ask the expediter. Where are we at with things? I'm in this division. Should I start getting ready? Most good expediters will start calling for, you know, bikini class, start getting glazed, or, you know, women's figure. And it's important for the people doing like us. I always know the order. I always know what's coming up next, because I think that's part of our job too. We need to know what's going on, how the order is, when the meetings are, if there's a meeting in the morning, what time that is, when prejudging starts. I mean, those are all things you have to know.
What if you're somebody like me, because it happens all the time, and I know I'm annoying, I bug you. You know, we have to feel comfortable right before we get on. We have to feel ready. But my skin is extra dry and they say, okay, everybody come and get glued and glazed for this. The second I get glued and glazed and I pump up, my skin is soaking it in. So then I have to come back and get more glaze. So do you waiting until we get on like almost near the stage, or do you have a time?
I know what I prefer, but sometimes it depends on who the head expediter is. You know, there's certain expediters that want everybody done and they want them in that line and they want them ready. And when that happens, I know they're going to need more glaze, especially. And I will say this, but people of color tend to suck it up a lot quicker. You do. So I will usually put somebody in the line if I have enough team back there, which I always do. I'll say, you need to go in the line. I have somebody in the line with a little bit of hand glaze and glue, because then I always tell my girls that are going to get glued, they come in, can I get glued? And I'm like, are you done sitting, standing, you know, stooping, peeing? Make sure you got all that stuff done. Are your shoes slip on or are they strap on? Because I like them to have their shoes on. And I like the figure, especially in women's physique, to have their shoes on, because I think it's important for suit placement for you to be in your shoes when we glue you in. So, you know, yeah, I agree with you though. Sometimes that's a little bit out of our hands, because some of the expediters just want and I think they do that because they want to make sure they have everybody there. But yes, I'll say I want, and I'm like, oh, why are they getting you glazed now? I do think it's too soon, but you just got to come back. We've always got somebody back there.
You handled it, because that happened to me at Norfolk, and you were like, I'm gonna have to use the body build on you, because I just soak it up too quickly. So you are prepared for anything. You know, I just want so that they know that you're the shit, because I already know what you did for me. But
you have to be prepared for everything, girl. I got a sewing kit. I got safety pins. I've got double-sided tape. You know, I saw when we just did
body. You had a mirror, like it's a big deal. You had mirrors. You had Gatorade. You had everything. You had
we try to bring Gatorade, especially when there's pros. Yeah.
God, I was sweating all these napkins to help my tan not come off, but to still make me look like I wasn't sweating. It's a big deal. There's competitors that sweat all the time, and it's like when you get on stage, you're how do you fix that?
Right. And once you get on stage, you know, with the pros, they let us come up with you all. They let us be up when you're on the diagonal, but I can remember a show in California years ago, and there was a guy out in men's physique, and he was in the middle on the line being judged, and he was just, we didn't tan him, actually. I will say we didn't tan him. I don't think that would have mattered, but he was just like a faucet, and he kept looking over at me, and I'm like, I can't go out in the middle of the line. You're being judged right now. You're going to have to wait to come over here. But they do let us go. I wish they let us go for the amateurs too, actually, on the diagonal, because especially if it's a national qualifier, I mean, they sweat too, and it's important for them too. But, you know, with you all, we're always up there.
I mean, you guys are always attentive. You guys are always right up on the athletes, and that's one of, you know, the qualities that I do like about LSR. You guys are very attentive to the athletes and really care how we get on stage.
You put in the time for this. I mean, you guys work your butts off. So my job is to make sure that I don't let you stress about that part. If I can at least take that part off of you, then you can focus on everything else you have to do. And to me, that's just as important as having a good color and getting the tan on you. I mean, and I've always stressed that to people that want to do this with us. And we get this a lot with everyday tanners. Oh, I want to do that. And I'm like, well, I don't paint a pretty picture of it. I say, you know, this is important. It's long days. It's not rocket science, but it's long, hard work. And I said, and you got to be prepared. You don't just spray that competitor the night before in the morning of and say, you know, good luck, goodbye. I said, you have to see them through it from start to finish. Even if I'm not backstage, I'm still there somewhere. If I'm taking care of our sponsored athletes, to make sure I'm getting you taken care of the best I can.
Right.
So,
because you really have to have the eyes, like you said. You have to see that everything gets splotchy. You can't just spray. Like, it has to be done the right way. And I don't, you know, like I went back to earlier when we talked, I do educate people. I do make people train, and people say, well, do you have a training video? I'm like, no, I don't do videos. You have to work in real time with me. You work a show.
because I can't teach people how to do some of the things that they need to learn until they happen. You know, I
Right.
mean, and I learn something new every time. I don't know it all. I mean, I can still learn because things will still come up backstage and I'm like, oh, I've never seen that before. What am I going to do with that? You know, so I always tell my staff, you have to have plan A. And everybody has one way that they, and all of my girls and some of my guys, they have certain ways that they'll use to do touch-ups, and that works for them. And I said, that's fine, but you have to have more than just one way. You got to have a bag of tricks because plan A may not work. So then you got to have a plan B, and if plan D doesn't work, you better figure out what plan C is, because
Right. All the way to
you have
Z.
to fix it.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
You have to fix it. But the competitors have to meet us halfway. You know, they have to do what we tell them to do. So
You can't just hire a coach and not do what the coach says and expect to win. So it works both ways.
Exactly. And when you bring that point up, and I'm going to just say this, I am not a coach. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a posing coach. I am not a judge, but I tan. So listen to your coach, listen to your posing coach. But, you know, I know that coaches know how they want their competitors to look, but let me tan. That's what we do. Let us do what we know how to do and just trust the process. We have a process. And if you let us do what we need to do, we'll get them there. You know, we don't like to do a lot of color the night before. It just, people wake up muddy. So just let us put the coat on we're going to do, let it do its thing, let it go through the process. In the morning, your skins will be a little bit more dried out. People are usually drier in the morning, and we can do whatever we need to do then. We can get you darker then.
Right.
So
I'm about to ask you for words of wisdom, you know, to leave with the people when it comes to tanning, but like, just listen to your coaches with whatever they're in charge of. You're in charge of so much time into tanning. You know the ins and outs. You know the foundation of every. So why would I not listen to you if I want to look my best and I'm coming to you for my tanning?
And my words of wisdom would be A, listen and read the skin prep instructions, but B, have fun though. I mean, this is a journey that people embark on. I mean, you guys are at the pro level and you've been on a continuous journey, but for the new competitor, just don't overthink everything. I mean, I really think this should be fun. I think it should be enjoyable for the competitors. And I'll tell them that sometimes when they're nervous. Oh, but I said, you know what? We're going to get you looking how you need to look. Now you just go out and have fun. And then if it's not fun, why are you going to keep doing it? So
Exactly.
Enjoy the process. And I mean, I know that everybody wants to win. I have two sons that were athletes in college. So yes, you want to win. You don't go into anything think, oh, I'm just going to have fun. I don't want to win, but you still need to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right.
And trust the process. What's that?
You're hilarious. Like I'm dying.
But just listen to what your tanner says and have fun.
I like that one. I definitely like that one. But I definitely want to say thank you. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time. I know you're super busy. You still have more shows coming up. So this was definitely, you know, enjoyable. A lot of information. I hope that a lot of people have tuned in or will tune in once we actually post this up on the YouTube page. And really take some notes, because I mean it is quite a bit that you do need to know as far as your skin prepping is involved, shaving, all those kind of things, clothing, not wearing the red, things of that nature. So I really hope that people will take quite a bit away from this, as well as the skin prep products. Also, you have a whole line of products. So you know, we know that you do have the do it yourself. You do also have the, you know, the glaze, you know, the glue. You have everything that you could possibly need. It is on the Liquid Sunrayz website.
It is there. And the new skin prep products I'm very happy with. I wanted to formulate a charcoal sugar scrub. That's been my goal for about 3 years, and I finally got it done. And it's going over really, really well. It's very hydrating. It's very skin conditioning, but the charcoal pulls impurities out, and it's great. So you'll be getting it soon. And I need your address. I'll send you some too. Yeah, gotta have it and try it. But yeah, we reformulated that, our body wash and our body lotion. So
Or he kills me.
sad.
Dante says he needs his body butter. He is upset. Like, used all my butter.
Boy, get out of here. I'm still in it now. No.
Yeah, now I will say I did eliminate the body butter because this moisturizer is the bomb. So, but you're going to get a lot of moisture in that charcoal scrub too. So, and then the magic dust, that is like, everybody's loving our magic dust. So if you're worried about the little stinky factor, the magic dust, and that's what we put on you. And you know that, Nicole, that's what we put on you after we tan you, and you as well. But now we have it in a little dispenser, and the girls especially love to get it, so you can kind of freshen up backstage during the day. So
after
got a little sparkle in it too.
Powder. I'm always looking forward to that.
Yep, we got it all.
Thank you so much, y'all. Take this extremely seriously. If you really want and you want to have fun, you want to have the complete package. This is literally putting your stamp for the judges to say, here, pick me. I'm the winner. I look the best on stage. You're not going to have your coach and not go to the grocery store to get your groceries. You have the same thing is here. Get your skin products and take care of your skin every single day. Like in prep with your meal plan, your body's constantly changing. Because now you're getting healthier. So you need these products. I promise you need them. Go to everything.
Absolutely.
On our Beyond the Barbell page with.
And just a little food for thought. Everybody in this industry is so concerned about the nutrients and the macros and what you're putting in your body, right? So you need to be equally as concerned as what you put on your body. The skin's the largest organ in the body. So take care of it.
Absolutely.
And we're ending it on that. Y'all better go get these products. I promise you. I'm gonna drown in it. But thank you so much. Seriously.
You're welcome.
We needed to post this because it's so important for our industry. There's so many people that don't know what to do before they even come to a show, because like you said, it's constantly growing and we want it to continue to grow. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure. I'll see you soon.
Yes, you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep your lookout everything with the video, the skin products, the what is it? What am I on prep? The website. There we go. We're gonna post the website and everything. Follow, like, so much for tuning in, and thank you so much again for coming on. We truly appreciate it.
You're welcome, girls. Thank you.
Until next time.
Till next time.
Bye.
Great night.
Bye.